Now we're gonna get into a little sports talk. We're
Yep.
gonna talk about the Phoenix Suns real quick. I propose that we talk about this real quick on the channel because um, this is one of the aspects of basketball, in particular the NBA, that has me frustrated. We
Mm.
talked about load management and how much that is an abomination. Uh, some of these players who just kind of do the league dirty, Ben Simmons, James Harden, how those are abominations in terms of their approach to professionalism and just playing basketball, and how that really makes the league look bad. So
Mhm.
when you compare that with load management, the NBA is kind of, to me, looking a little suspect these days. And it's why they're trying to institute things to kind of get people back caring and not and taking them seriously, such as the play-in tournament and the in-season tournament. The play-in tournament is okay. To me, the in-season tournament, don't really get it. But of course, I'm a hardcore guy. I'm gonna watch the games regardless. So I don't know if this goofy in-season tournament is actually getting people watching these games in the regular season. I don't know. But I did want to talk about the Phoenix Suns real quick because another thing that I think hurts the league is top-heavy teams. And right now, if you're paying attention to what's going on with the Phoenix Suns, um, there was a lot of hoopla around the Phoenix Suns coming into the season because they signed Bradley Beal. They basically gutted their entire roster. DeAndre Ayton is gone. A bunch of people are gone. Chris Paul is gone. And in comes Bradley Beal. And so they basically go like five deep. But at the top, they're very elite. Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker. However, none of these guys can play a game. Kevin Durant's the oldest guy. Well, he's the oldest star on the team. He's 35. He's played in every game. So shouts out to KD, who continues to bring it, of course, as he becomes a veteran. But
Hmm.
Devin Booker got hurt the first game of the season against the Warriors. He proceeded to miss like a week. Bradley Beal was already on the mend. He wasn't playing the first 2 weeks or so of the season, came back, and now he's hurt again and is supposed to miss like a month with a back injury. And so I'm looking at it and I'm saying, what was the point of all this? I don't think these guys are going to play a single game together in the regular season at this point. I think they're going to load manage the hell out of this roster all the way through the playoffs. And maybe that's me being cynical, but that's what
Hmm.
I think is going to happen. I don't think all three of these guys are going to play in a single game this year. Maybe they'll play one. We'll see. But this brief synopsis from ESPN, and this article was written a few days ago, back on November 17th. But it says Suns Bradley Beal to miss at least 3 weeks with back injury. Bradley Beal will miss at least the next 3 weeks as a lower back strain continues to plague the start of his tenure with the Phoenix Suns. In a statement, the Suns said the shooting guard will be reevaluated in 3 weeks. So reevaluated means he might not even play in 3 weeks. They're just going to look at it again in 3 weeks. Beal missed the team's first 7 games with his lower back strain, then returned November 8th for the first of 3 straight games before missing Wednesday's win over Minnesota. Acquired from the Washington Wizards in an offseason trade, Beal was expected to form a high-powered big three in Phoenix, but injuries have prevented that from happening. Devin Booker has also played in just 3 of the Suns' 11 games because of ankle and calf injuries, but has not appeared in a regular season game with Beal. Kevin Durant has been the team's lone superstar constant, as the 35-year-old has not missed a game. Phoenix plays the first of 2 consecutive games at Utah on Friday night. Of course, this was last week. So Devin Booker has come back since then. So it's been Devin Booker and KD. Beal is out. And I don't know how much money you want to bet that when Beal comes back, either someone else is going to get injured or they'll just start load managing their way through the regular season. But I'm a historian of the league. I follow this stuff very closely, and there is a precedent for top-heavy teams not winning championships. The lone exception is the Warriors with Kevin Durant, and I largely look at that team as an outlier because they were unbeatable and had the two best shooters in the league, along with two of the top five best players in the league, all in the starting lineup at the same time in their prime. That is an outlier. I don't think you'll ever see that again. So I think you kind of have to take them and throw them out of the window. If you remove them from the equation, there isn't a single attempt at formulating a top heavy roster that resulted in winning a championship. Not one. I don't, you can, I don't, there isn't a single example of this. They've tried and it failed. It didn't work in Brooklyn with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden. Now, granted, Kyrie went a little nuts, so, and James Harden is a, don't even get me started on the horrible example that James Harden sets in terms of just professionalism when it comes to basketball. He is horrible, but it didn't work there, right? Um, other attempts at top heavy teams that didn't work out. The Lakers in 2004 when they tried to, screw on Karl Malone and Gary Payton with Kobe and
I
Shaq. That
remember
did
that.
not work. Top heavy teams just do not work. You need depth. You got to be able to go at least 8 or 9 deep. They tried it last year with KD and Devin Booker. Now, granted, that was a bit of a quick sort of deal. They didn't really have a long time to play together, but they tried to do that with Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Chris Paul. Did not work. Chris Paul's gimpy, always gets hurt, and DeAndre Ayton is flaky and has attitude issues. Top heavy teams just don't work. You need to be able to go 8 or 9 deep. And I think that the precedent for this is very clear. Yet here we go again with the Phoenix Suns. There was all of this fanfare because they were getting these guys together. Lo and behold, someone is either hurt or eventually, I predict, they're going to be load managed. And so those are my initial thoughts on this situation. I was never excited with this situation to begin with because I felt as though there were either going to be injury issues or load management strategies. And here we go. So um, even if these guys do get healthy in time for the playoffs, I don't think that they will develop the kind of court chemistry that you need to be successful in the postseason because guys need to get runs together.
Right.
And they're not getting runs together. You got to be able to play. And the media is going to talk about how if they're healthy, they have a chance. No, they don't. They do not. And I hate it when the media does lazy stuff like this. They don't have a chance if they don't get runs together. So I don't like it. I wasn't excited about it from the jump because I feel as though you need to be able to have somebody who can run the floor, who can orchestrate offense. They do not have that. They've got scorers who can dribble, pass, and shoot, but they don't necessarily have somebody who can orchestrate offense and get guys in the right position. I predict that they will not win a championship, much less make it to the deeper rounds of the playoffs. But I am penny for your thoughts if you feel any different.
So hey, real quick, man. So I know we won 2 out of 4, but would you consider the Heat roster to be top heavy? I kind of feel like they fit in that bucket.
Which year?
Whenever LeBron took his talents down there. So
I not not to cut
The
you
Ray
off.
Allen ones.
Right. No, I don't think because to me, you're not top heavy if you go at least 7 deep. So to me, 7 deep means I got 5 bona fide starting line. My starting lineup is bona fide, and then I can spell with guys who can come into the game and be effective.
Mm,
And I think those teams went at least 7 or 8 deep because you had the starting 5, and then you had people like Mike Miller and I can't remember. I think Shane Battier came off the bench on those teams too. I don't think Battier was a starter. So
mm-hmm.
yeah, Battier was a starter. You have people like Mike Miller who was a starter. So right there, that's 7. So I don't know. I personally don't consider that to be top heavy. I thought that they
Gotcha.
ran pretty deep. Top heavy to me is you got 3 people and then you
And
got 2
everybody
role
else.
players in the starting lineup and no bench. That's what I look at as top heavy.
Gotcha. So with that criteria, then yeah, it's not a good formula. Um, I do. I'm a Bradley Beal fan. I feel like Washington is a horrible organization. Uh, that aren't trying to win, and so he got stuck in a bad situation over there. So I was excited for him to go to a contender. But I didn't like how the team was assembled. I mean, it's only so much you can do when you acquire somebody, when you have 3 people like this. So it's not much wiggle room to do much. I mean, they've got all kinds of scrap guys, that if this was 2K and you got limited, yeah, and you got limited funds, you doing league minimum for you. So you're grabbing the guys with 68 ratings and 64 ratings because you can't afford 70 ratings. Forget 80. So yeah, I do agree that yeah, teams do have roster space for three max contracts, but I don't think it's wise to always do such. I think it is best to just have a solid bench and great development. Um, I would rather pay dudes on my bench, the seventh and eighth guy, decent money, so I'm getting good return. Uh, if somebody got injured in the starting lineup or what have you, playoff time, they hit playoff mode, those guys are valuable. The reason why Denver won so handedly last year is because they were deep as a team.
Yes.
And it was one thing where, like, all right, man, haymaker here, haymaker there. And if you rely on your sixth man, but they got seven, eight, nine guys that can run, yeah, dude, you're not setting yourself up for success in those situations. So the Clippers roster, bizarre, and the Suns roster, I didn't like what they did with the pieces. um, I like Nurkic. I like him. But no, I don't care for this because the styles, the skill sets aren't complementary to me. I know what Bradley Beal does. I've watched a lot of him play, and it's pretty much a tier below what Devin Booker's been doing.
Essentially, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't get that. Um, Booker, by the way, he is special to me. I honestly think he's in another level right now. I don't know what he's been doing, but the guy is just he's awesome right now. So I think that they have enough to swing, fight, punch, but not enough for a victory. You got to be, as you mentioned, you have to be pretty well balanced as a team. Top heaviness doesn't get you anywhere in any sport, as far as I'm concerned. Well, I watch football and basketball, and they don't do nothing for football. The teams that whoop you are the teams that got dudes on the bench still, and they don't
Mhm.
have just one guy on the defensive line. They got five guys on the defensive line. Four guys, and they all getting after you. So yeah, you gotta have dudes that can just hoop. And the Suns, yeah, they just got a whole bunch of guys that would be, not even rotational pieces on other competing teams.
Yeah.
So I think I think the Suns, they may do the load management game. Um Bradley Bill has a history of being injured, soft tissue things, weird things, nothing really major. Just he's just not good enough to play. And then when you finally see him play, it's like, bro, he still look like he hurt. So yeah, because there's some dudes, I don't know, muscle fibers, whatever's going on, they just look smooth and they look athletic. And even when Bradley Bill is out there, he looks like he's
He's
stiff.
gimpy.
Yeah,
Yes.
stiff
Yeah.
and sore. And it's like, bro, aren't you kind of young still? Like, why aren't you? So he's always been that kind of guy. I don't know if it's diet, off the court stuff where he just can't stay healthy like that, because it's generally always like soft tissue stuff. So a back injury, I don't besmirch back injuries, but a back strain is like, damn, bro, like you're still, I don't get it. So, but I think they might play the game. I think the load management game. I think they will play together for a handful, but that might be after All-Star break. And then they're gonna start getting the wheels in motion and try to catch their chemistry and their stride like that. But I had mentioned this, I think this was on the last show, but I don't like homie ball. And this seems like homie, hey, go cook, go to work. And it's like, hey man, look, like that's not how this goes. And so for me, I know KD can find his whenever, wherever, but he still needs the ball. So when you have three ball dominant people like this, that in order for them to be extremely effective, they need to be dropping about 30. I don't know how that works in the locker room. I don't know how that works as far as chemistry on the floor. I just think this was bad construction. I get the premise, just hit him over the head with offense, but you still need some other stuff. I don't care for it. So yeah, I agree with you, man. I think top heavy teams are bad for the league. I think it's bad in any sport, honestly. It's not a good product. So I like to see teams clawing after it. All right, the bench is in there and both benches are going at it. That's rare nowadays. And honestly, there's only like a few teams in the league right now that's deep enough that'll hurt you. Denver's still
Yeah.
one of them. So
Yep. Yeah. That's my prediction. I believe that once all three of them are in playing condition, that it'll be a situation where at the most you'll get only two of them in one game.
yeah,
That's kind of what I see happening. Maybe for big games, and maybe towards the end of the regular season, if there's like seeding implications, they'll start playing all three of them. But I just kind of look at it and I kind of feel like they're just gonna, and that's one of the things that I feel has it's a disservice to the game that is what the tenor of the NBA has become, where
mm,
these organizations, instead of just maximizing the output of their rosters and focusing on winning as many games as possible, they're looking at schedules and they're saying, let's just coast and
yep,
finish here and not care too much about seeding or home court. Let's just get there. And then, but in lieu of doing that, you never know what you're going to get
right,
throughout the season. You don't know who's playing. You don't know what the finished product is. You don't know what the team looks like because you get such few examples or opportunities to see everybody playing basketball together. And every team does that. Every organization does that now, and I hate it with a passion because there's no data anywhere empirically that says doing that lessens the chance of injuries. There's nothing there. There's been no study or data that has been presented that has proven doing this is going to increase the likelihood of you winning a championship and lessen the likelihood of players getting hurt. There's no data on this. So you're just doing it just for the sake of doing it because you
hmm,
know the players want it and because you know they want to sit out. And so it's like we're just doing this, placating to these guys, and they're not playing in games. But historically, top heavy teams have never won championships. Every attempt of it has failed. You can go all the way back. And if, like I said, if you exclude the KD Warriors, because I'll say that was top heavy, that was basically starting five or bust. But their starting five was so supreme, you couldn't do anything about it because that
hmm,
was pre-injury K. That was pre-injury Clay. So that was still prime physically. That was still Clay. I can drop 30 in a quarter, Clay. Like,
yeah,
that was the Clay Thompson that could literally drop. Clay Thompson scored 27 points in a quarter once. Like, so just eliminate them. But every other team that's won, the Nuggets last year, loaded. You have people like Christian Brown and Bruce Brown and KCP coming off the bench, flying all over the place, hitting threes. You know what I'm saying? Even the year the Lakers won in the bubble, you got people like Caruso and all of these guys just doing stuff, making shots, hitting threes all over the place. So like you need to have depth. And you can say what you want about these rosters, but at the end of the day, historically, you can go right on down the line. Every team that's won has been deep. Every team. So whatever excuse you want to throw out there in terms of why top heavy teams haven't won, because I'm pretty sure if you dig deep enough, you can find some. The reality is the teams that have won have been teams that go at least 8 deep. So it is what it is. But I think that this team has zero chance right out the gate. They have zero chance. They have zero chance to win because of my belief that top heavy teams do not win titles. They just don't. There's only one example of it, and that was an anomaly. Um, and even if you want to argue that they have a chance because their talent level is so high, I'm going to lean into the idea that they're going to be so banged up and lacking in chemistry that they can't win anyway. So it is what it is.
yeah. I
But
think
it sucks. I don't like it, but this is what the league does now.
well, that's
Sign
what
the
I'm saying.
players. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the league, the league is they're trying to figure out reasons why people, viewership is down and all this other stuff, and this plays into it. There's no we need more competitive balance. We need, like, I don't know if this has to be a salary cap adjustment or no more three max players thing, or they need to fix something. Because nah, bro, it sucks. This is a bad product, dude. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm trying to watch these games and enjoy them, bro. I really am. I'm impressed by the skill level of these dudes when it comes to
Individually,
dribbling.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
dribbling, shooting, falling away, scores of 130 to 120. Like all that's impressive. The games are bad though, in my opinion. It's bizarre. They're scoring more points, but it sucks. And I think and the reason why, well, I was watching college last year, like the tournament last year for real. And I'm sitting and watching these guys. The referees aren't calling as many fouls. It's defensive oriented in a lot of ways. You got to scheme up plays. It's more basketball. It's closer to the game of basketball, not analytics and shooting. And so one of the components why I feel like people are not feeling it is the lack of competitive balance. So they might have to change something with the salary caps. No more three max players. It sounds good, but it's not good for the game. And but it's a poor product. The in season tournament, whatever, y'all can have it. My complaint is the courts. Go back to regular courts. Those things are hideous, especially the red ones. So just please don't do that. I wish they could ask the fans if certain things are okay. Put a QR code on the TV and let me vote and say no next year to these colored courts. Just don't do that to me. So they're trying to reach out the younger demographics. They're trying to do all this 2K stuff because that look like some my court thing on 2K. So they're just trying to adopt and trying to be, stop. Give us a good game. Stop allowing these referees to call these stupid technicals. Stop kicking people out of games for bogus stuff. Like there's so many things that the league can do just with officiating that would make the game a lot better. So if playoff basketball is so intense because the referees, not because the referees, but playoff basketball is so intense for various reasons. But one of them, in my opinion, is the referee swallowed a whistle and it's not as many petty ass calls unless they got some overs and unders or they want something else to happen. It's still a more competitive game. So something needs to happen. These guys are just taking advantage of the rules. And so, hey, I want to play with my homie. Let's all link up. Hey, bro, we can give ourselves break throughout the season. Hey, man, you can take this game. You can be superstar. That way, whenever we play, our averages are still our averages. I don't know what kind of rigmarole these dudes are doing. Because if they was all playing together, will I hit my 25 a game? But if I play on this game and I'm the superstar, I can hit my 32. And you know what I'm saying? All this jazz. So that's what the Clippers did with Kawhi and them a couple years ago. And it looks like the Phoenix Suns will be doing that. I hope not, but my prediction is that they're going to try to get this ball rolling after All-Star break because that's generally when teams try to take things seriously. So we'll see what happens with this Jazz.
Even if that is the case, I still despise it. So
Me too.
y'all gonna sit there and forsake the fans and the game really for the first 6 months of the year just so that y'all can turn it on after the All-Star break. I hate that.
That's right.
I hate it. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Well, October, November, December, January, February, the first 4 months, basically 4.5, 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
It's gross, but I hear that. I hear it. It's ridiculous. Um, you got to construct rosters. That's what wins. GMs need to do their job, construct a roster that fits. Top heavy rosters have never historically won championships, even with the greatest players of all time. Kobe and Shaq, they went 8 or 9 deep. We don't even need to go down the list of all the guys they had on their teams. Jordan and the Bulls went 8 or 9 deep in the playoffs. I think the Heatles went 7, 8 deep. The Celtics, one year that they won with Allen and Pearson Garnett, they went 8, 9 deep. Everybody goes deep. The Nuggets went deep. The Lakers went deep in 2020. All these teams go deep. The Warriors, without KD, went damn near 10 deep. When you look at people like Leandro Barbosa, Sean Livingston, Harrison Barnes, they went deep. So carefully constructed rosters is what wins in the league, not this top heavy BS, because this top heavy stuff leads to other things that I hate, like injury like inability to be competitive when injuries take place and load management. So I don't know. I can't stand it, but it's what it's what I've come to expect. And I'm a Devin Booker fan. I actually like Devin Booker. Ever
Mm-hmm.
since Kobe retired, my two favorite players have probably been Booker and Lillard. So I think Booker is made of the right stuff, and I genuinely think that when he's not playing, it's because he's hurt. Because
Right.
otherwise, he plays. He's not like
Right.
he's not gimpy like Beal, so he's gonna be in there.
Right.
But still, the mix doesn't work. They don't have a true one. They just got guys who hoop and get buckets. That's it.
Good
So
luck with that.
yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah.